A Citronelle woman agreeing to plead guilty to a lesser charge last month to avoid a reckless manslaughter trial, but it was hardly an amicable resolution.
Yeah, raw emotions inside the courtroom today as a judge ordered Samantha Powell Reed to prison. Reed, convicted earlier of driving drunk, smashing into a tree at high speed, killing her husband Jacob back in 2019. Fox 10 News' Brendan Kirby in studio now after being in court.
And Brendan, there is some differences between the defendant and her deceased husband's family.
Yeah, there sure is, Lenise and Byron. The victim's two sisters testified that they don't believe the defendant was remorseful. The judge calling this a terrible tragedy, but he told the defendant there has to be consequences for her actions. According to evidence presented in court, Samantha Powell Reed was almost twice past the legal alcohol limit and driving more than double the 30-mile-per-hour speed limit on Rose Street in Citronelle on December 29, 2019. Reed blew through a stop sign at almost 70 miles per hour, fewer than 100 yards from her home. The sport utility vehicle smashed into a tree, flipping the vehicle and ejecting her husband of more than 20 years, Jacob Reed. Samantha Reed was set to go on trial in November on a reckless manslaughter charge. Instead, she pleaded guilty to criminally negligent homicide while driving under the influence of alcohol. After hearing anguished testimony from two of the victim's sisters on Thursday, Mobile County Circuit Judge Michael Wyndham mostly accepted the prosecution recommendation and handed down a 10-year sentence with all but 18 months suspended. The defendant then will have to spend 3 years on probation under the Mobile County Community Correction Center. Mobile County Chief Assistant District Attorney Jennifer Sussman says she's satisfied with the sentence.
This is a very tragic circumstance. It affects the family on both sides. This is just one of those really, really sad situations where we're hopeful that the family can start to have some closure now that the sentencing has been completed.
According to testimony at the sentencing hearing, Jacob Reed was at a farmhouse playing music with some friends that December evening. His wife came to pick him up. Both of them had been drinking. Defense attorney Josh Briskman says Jacob Reed was behind the wheel when they left for home, but that they switched places at some point because his client was concerned her husband was impaired. Briskman says he believes Samantha Reed had a seizure and blacked out, causing the high-speed crash. He says this is one of the most difficult cases he's had in more than 20 years of practicing law.
And I can think of a couple that were worse that involved the death of children, but I mean, this was top of the list, just very sad all around. No winners, all losers, and Mr. Reed will never come back, and that's an absolute tragedy.
Samantha Reed will get credit for the 28 days she spent in jail after her arrest. Jacob Reed left behind 2 teenage daughters. Their aunt on their father's side has custody. Reporting live from the News Center, Brendan Kirby, Fox 10 News.